Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the conversation series.
Because creators are businesses.
What we do is not simple.
Give, the fans everything that they deserve.
Being creative
is like doing a 5,000 piece puzzle.
is something that you can learn and do over and over again.
Always be as authentic as I can be.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the conversation series. I am so excited today. I've got Miss Eva Oof here from the Toronto Sceptres. I'm so excited. She's the social media manager for them. I'm excited. We're diving right into the PWHL. Eva, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm super pumped to get started.
Yeah. I first want to jump in just to your very early career, and you've really built a career across multiple teams and leagues and different sports. How did you first find your way into sports media, and what kind of drew you to the social media side of it?
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of parts to it. I think I've always been interested in sports, and when I went into university, my undergrad, I studied business. But I never really knew that like I could get into like the business of sports really. I don't know why I never like pieced those two together. I was kind of just like an enjoyer of sports, just like watching it, but I didn't really think about like the behind the scenes as much. And I think growing up, like he didn't see that either.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was kind of just like doing my degree, watching sports like in my free time, kind of stuff like that. And then it was until like second year I started doing like photography just for fun. And I decided to just bring my camera to like one of the Canadian women's like soccer team games, just shooting from the stands. Um, and I thought it was like super fun. And going into like my third year, I went to Wilfrid Laurier University, and they had their athletics program. I guess they were looking for like just a volunteer photographer for like the varsity games. So I was like, you know what? Like I kind of have done it and some people were telling me to do it. So I was like, okay, like let me just try, I guess. Like I don't really know. I don't think I'm good enough, but like I'll give it a try. And so I did that and like my first game I shot basketball. It was tough. Like I because I shot soccer before and like soccer's been my main sport. Like basketball's like indoors, didn't really know how to do the lighting. My photos are super dark, but I got some feedback to make them brighter and stuff. And so um I did and it was really fun, honestly. So I kind of just continued to do that in my free time. Like when I had a chance, I would go shoot the basketball games, hockey games, did like football as well. Um and yeah, and it was really fun. And through that, I actually had met someone from another school that I was shooting at. He was studying sports business, and I was like, oh my God, I had no idea that was a program. And so this was like my third year at this point. So I'm like, okay, like maybe I should look into like I don't know if I can get into like a sports job after I graduate or like if there's any like postgraduate degrees. Um, so from there, like I just kind of did more research and I had actually found some postgraduate degree options. And I was like, okay, fourth year, I'm going to start applying to them. And then, like, once I'm graduated, I think that's what I want to do. Like, I think I want to pursue my master's in this field. Um, so I actually did that. And, like, what's kind of interesting and, like, what I find with, like, the sports industry too is that, like, a lot of people just know each other. And so my boss that I was, like, reporting to for, like, these photography gigs and stuff for Laurier Athletics, he actually had gone to one of the schools that I was researching about. Um, and he knew some like the person like his same position there at Windsor. And so I was like, okay, like I want to know more, like how does it work out? Like all that. So he helped a lot in that sense as well. So yeah, that kind of was an easy transition for me. Like after school, I was also doing like graphic design with Laurier a bit too. So just going into like now my master's program at Windsor, which is where I ended up going, I was doing stuff for like the athletics program too, just because I had that connection and it was kind of like an easy way for me to like, and this time I was getting paid and stuff. So it was like nice to have like a job while I was there. And I was just doing like photography, graphic design, and like a bit of socials as well, just kind of keeping myself in that creative space. Um, and it was pretty hands-on because it was like very student run. So we were like pretty close and just like chatting and like kind of just seeing where we could improve. So that was super fun. And then yeah, like out of that experience at the University of Windsor, I unfortunately like, I didn't get to experience it a ton because it was during COVID. So half of it like I spent at home. Um, but I was able to meet some like alumni from that program, and that's actually how I got into like my job with the Hamilton Sports Group because one of the people, or one of the alumni, she who then became my boss, she was hiring for like positions at the Hamilton Sports Group for like the Ticats and Forge FC. So I had reached out to her, being like, I'm interested. I'm almost like done my degree. Like, would it work out? And then it actually ended up working out. So that's kind of how I got into um, that that role. And it was just like marketing. So I was doing like email marketing, website updates, um, like a bit of photography, doing like social media for Forge FC. And then yeah, just kind of trying everything out. And like I think social media and just like that creative side of things always like spoke out to me a bit more. So that's kind of how I continued pursuing that like path and then getting eventually up to here. Yeah.
Yeah, looking back at your time with through your whole journey with the Windsor Lancers and your internships, has there been a like a collection of skills or just one skill or lesson that you've carried through that still kind of shaped the way you work today?
Yeah, I think the main thing was just like maybe just like being adaptable and like always trying to learn new skills to better yourself. I think a lot of the teams I've worked with like were always a bit smaller, so you kind of had to wear multiple hats and it kind of helped you um in that sense where you were learning a new skill set and that in the future would like help you set yourself apart from like other people and like just make you more valuable, I think. So just being able to do that and like react quickly, especially in like the sports industry, has been super helpful for me. And I think another thing too is just like putting like your full effort into things. I think you don't realize like how close and tight knit like the sports industry is. So even just like all these connections kind of leading me, like I never would have thought that I don't even really think about that much, like how much like there was a connection into like each place I was in. But I feel like if you leave a good um name for yourself in terms of just like working hard and like doing what you're supposed to do, maybe going above and beyond as well. Like people will remember that even though you may not realize it in the moment. But I think like when someone's asking about you in like if you're trying to apply for a new job or like if you're reaching out to someone else and they know someone that like you may have worked with, like that person is able to say good things about you. And I think like I don't know if like it may, yeah, you might not realize it at first, but I think like it really does pay off in the end. And I feel like I've really seen that as well in my like career.
I love that. Now, with your social media hat on, like there's just when you're starting out in social media, you of course have the role of, just managing the accounts and things like that. But what does professional growth look like for someone in social media who wants to move beyond that, just managing the accounts? Maybe it is going up in levels in terms of director and things like that. But for you, what's it really meant, that professional growth?
Yeah, I think for me, again, I think it has to do with like working for like smaller teams of people. Um, I think a lot of it is like you do a lot of more the content planning maybe and like managerial aspect. So like whether that's like managing personnel like our videographers, photographers, any like graphic designers or freelance folks, like that could be one thing. I do feel like in this role, because we are smaller than like in my last role, like in terms of our staff size, like I think that I'm doing a lot more like creative content directing. So like I'll work a lot with my videographer to kind of plan content, whereas like in my last job we kind of had a creative content director who was mostly leading that, but here it's now like mostly him and I doing that together, which I feel like is something cool. And like maybe if that's something I want to pursue later on, like I kind of now have that experience as well. And then I think another thing is just like being like personable with people and like building relationships. Like outside of just like that skill set, but like of like technical skills, it's like your people skills and like just being able to build relationships and like trust with like your coworkers and like the athletes and coaches if you're like working in for like a sports team, and like maybe even like networking with like fellow people in the industry. Um, so I think that is all like growth in a way, and like challenging yourself outside of just like posting and like creating like a post to post.
You are part of this really like inaugural PWHL, 6 teams. The Sceptres have been part of this, have been part of this journey. We've got more teams popping up now. What did it feel like for you really stepping into a brand new organization with so much anticipation around it? There was so much media and press and so much that was weighted on this.
It honestly, like I didn't start till March 2024, so I wasn't there and like directly, I guess, at the
Yeah.
start. Like I did work the inaugural game because I was doing graphics part-time with the league. But once like I feel like it was even that was different than like actually like working full-time with the team. But yeah, it was just unreal. Like I've always like I grew up playing soccer, and like I think the main thing for me is, and I guess what like motivated me to like want to work in sports once I found out that I could do so was just like seeing how tough it was to get like access to like women's sports, like women's soccer, the way I was following it, like I didn't even know it was like they had a women's World Cup until I was just like switching the channels one day and accidentally fell across like one of the games and was like, oh, okay, so they're like women play professionally too. And like even just trying to like follow the players, like they weren't, I think it's grown a lot since then, but like there weren't like any, like I had to find like sketchy streams or like um or like just like follow along like live tweeting instead of like actually being able to watch it because it wasn't on TV. So I think for me, like it was just crazy being able to have this like, so many fans like packing our arena, and then also just like having it on TV and like people being able to watch it, and just like access to the sport was just like so surreal to me. Um, and like even working with Forge FC, which was like a newer team, I think they're only in their like 6th year now. So when I was there, like it was still a fairly newer team, but I don't think the hype around it was quite like the same compared to the PWHL. And it's just like, yeah, it was like part of me was like the younger me was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is real. And just like so in awe of everything. But I think like the league has done a great job just like marketing it and like promoting it, and just getting those deals in so that like this league can be successful and that like people will have their eyes on it and be supporting it. So yeah, it was great to step into, and like the players have also been like super bought in, I think, which is like I've never worked with like players who are so bought in and like very like just care so much about the league. And I know it's been like a long time coming for something like this. So um it's just been awesome. Yeah.
When you first walked in there in 2024, what were kind of your first impressions of the team's identity and the league's vision for all of this, especially when you're thinking about social media perspective and walking into that role? How did you kind of work through all of that?
I think like one thing too, I really appreciated how much emphasis the league like cared about in terms of like social media. Like it was a big thing for this league, and I think that honestly probably helped a lot of like that promotional aspect, especially with how quickly like the league took off. But I think that was like the biggest thing for me in terms of just like wow, like they actually care, and like I know that they're gonna do like great things and really actually like take advantage of like what social media has to bring and like how we'll be able to reach fans through that.
I think it's one thing I've been talking about with a lot of people is today's social media for a lot of sports teams. Tickets can be very, very expensive for some people. And social media has really turned into that place where if you're not able to come to the game, you're able to still follow your team. You're able to still go and see what's happening and follow the games, whether
Mm-hmm.
you are able to watch a sketchy airing of it or not, whatever it is, it's become a great tool to make sure that every team is really inclusive to everybody, whether you're at the game or not.
And I think also like just with the way that like I feel like social media helps like portray athletes outside of just like their on-field performance. I think that also is like a huge thing. Like you may not care about hockey as much, but you love this player because their personality is just hilarious or they're funny or they're like you or something. So I think that's also like a unique perspective on it too. And I think that's kind of like why I got hooked into like women's soccer, just like being able to like follow these athletes. Because I mean, like I like soccer, but like what is it that sets it apart from like men's and like
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that was like the big thing for me, and that's why I was like so hooked on because I was like I always liked soccer, but like it just watching the men's like didn't hit the same.
Yeah. How do you like to approach helping build a brand that's both new, but also it's part of such a historic movement in women's sports?
I think in terms of me, like I feel very like privileged to be able to kind of like create this like write the history almost because it's like we came in like with a bit blank slate almost. So being able to kind of like be the first to like leave a mark on that is kind of cool. In a way, I feel like there's a lot of pressure, but also in another way, there's like not as much because there's nothing to like go off of
Yeah.
from like the past. Like I'm not coming into like, oh, this is like a storied like
Yeah.
100-year-old team kind of thing. Like,
Detroit Red Wings or Rain.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, in terms of like how I feel like it's kind of nice because I'm now able to just like you let my creative like senses flow and like do what I feel like feels the best in terms of how I know like our athletes and like our team and like the values that we want to portray. Um and just being able to showcase that like I think it's a lot of like going off of the relationships I built to see like what people are comfortable with. But I think my main thing is always just like obviously focusing on like the on ice performance, but I think just like because I have such a connection with like how I became a fan of like women's soccer, I think like it's so important for me to just be able to showcase like the personalities of the players and like how they are off the ice because they can be like I mean, I feel like our team's good, so like what is it that stands
Yeah.
sets us apart from like other teams and like even each other like each like different fans can have different favorite players because like of different things. So I think it's like my job to be able to showcase that to them. And I think that was like a big thing that I like to focus on.
I think what's been really cool about the last couple of years of social media and sports is you're starting to see a lot of those moments of fun off the field, off the ice, off the court, whatever it may be, that you're really starting to get to know players on a deeper level outside of just stats or seeing them play. It's funny to see the personality start to come through. I mean, you've seen, the full government name, whatever it is, and seeing reactions there. It's those things that you get to see a little bit of personality from these players that we think and we see and we're playing these sports that we think are on these pedestals of godlike, but we're like, they're just like us. It's moments like this that they're
Mm-hmm.
like, yes, we find more relation to these people.
Yeah, yeah, no, they're literally just like people that are really good at sports, but they probably have the same like passions as you. And like, if you love Taylor Swift, like Maggie Connors also loves Taylor Swift. Like it's just they're so relatable, and I think it's just you don't realize that until you like see them in like another light. And like yes, some of these people are like really good and like they deserve all the hype,
Yeah.
but they're also just like yeah, they're just a person at the end of the day.
There's so much pride and community around the Scepters. How have you seen the fan base grow over the last few years and really shape the team's identity in real time?
Yeah, I feel like honestly the growth has been crazy. I think I'm really lucky to be a part of like the Toronto team where I think Toronto itself is like a really huge sports city as well. And like just even going from like selling out, yeah, like selling out Mattamy in like the first year to like selling out Coca-Cola and like also just selling out our like Scotiabank Arena games. It's just been unreal. I think the fans really embraced the team like in terms of just like doing little things. They have their little things like at our games. There's like this fan named Connie. She spearheads like Emanation, but once we moved into like Coca-Cola Coliseum, which was like a lot bigger than our first arena in like first year, she made like fan like signs. Like she hand painted like these tarps. I don't know if she hand painted them, but like they're hand painted and like there was like a fan section for each player. And so just seeing them like really embrace it has been incredible. And like hopefully when like the players step on, they can like kind of see their area. And like I think over the next few years, I'm sure people will like start to recognize like certain zones in like the arena as like this person's fan zone, if that makes sense. But um yeah, just like the outfits too, the chants, like I know we have like Hot to Go as our goal song, but like fans started doing like TORONTO to it instead of like HOTTOGO.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so it's just been like fun to have those little like if you know you know kind of things with our team. But no, they always amaze me with how like creative they are and like um yeah, they always show up like wherever we go and stuff. So it's yeah, the fans have been embracing it for sure. And I just think like women's sports fans in general too are just like so locked in and like bought in.
Well, and not to mention what a time to be a Toronto sports fan right now. At the time we're recording this,
Mhm.
your beloved Blue Jays are playing the Dodgers
Yeah.
World Series right now, having a freaking go at it. I mean, just massive to see them going through all of this. It's been so much fun to watch just them fight and how well they've played. And one of your pitchers went to you Savage went to East Carolina where I went to school. So it's
Oh, no
one of those of
way.
like it's like a little pride for us down here too.
Okay, no, that's awesome. We love Trey. He's been incredible. Like, what a game he had yesterday, too. Like, that was insane. Like, 12 strikeouts, no walk for a rookie.
Insanity.
Like, yeah, I no, I love him. I'm like, every time I get to see him play, I'm like, yes, like, we're gonna win. But no, he's been so fun to watch. This team has been like so fun to watch, just the fight that they put in because I think a lot of people like wrote us off. I know we had a good season, but obviously playing the Dodgers is always super tough. And they just have such like a great history of
Yep.
winning World Series and like showing up in these moments. So you kind of have to find a different mentality if you really want to like beat
Amen.
them.
Amen.
So
And
yeah.
while we're talking about Canadian sports, you know you've been part of this Canadian sports through a time of major digital evolution. We are changing constantly right now with digital media. What do you think sets Canada's sports media scene apart from others today?
That's a great question. I think a lot of it maybe is just like the way the country rallies like behind our team. And I know like I don't want to bring politics into this, but I feel like that kind of affects it too, where you're like, you just feel so much pride and like patriotism in your country. And like I know we have a lot of teams that like where it's just like that one team that is like Canada's team. So I think in terms of like being able to rally behind a sports team, like Canada definitely has that. But just like working in the CFL too, I think like we like the CFL even in itself like is super different from the NFL, like the rules, like the players, and like the way the game works is just so different. So I think there's like a bit of like um different things that like people can catch on to and like really get behind. And yeah, I just think like even the PWHL, like I think the Canadians have really done a great job like supporting our teams in this country. So it's been awesome to see them just like show up and always like showing out for the teams here. And I think the media just does a great job just like emphasizing that and like portraying like the success stories and like showing what's different that makes people like want to engage in it outside of like the already popular like media and like other leagues.
Now, we've been talking about through your career just the connection points that you've had and the people that have really, you know, helped you and introduced you to that next phase. Is there a piece of advice that you would give to someone who, is looking to break into this massive sports media industry that it is today, but maybe doesn't have those connections or a big portfolio or, hasn't really figured out their place in sports media quite yet?
I think for me, it would just be like taking on any opportunities that you see to try. Like when I did my first like sports photography gig, yes, the photos were awful and like I wasn't great at like shooting, but it was a passion of mine and like I was able to learn. So I think just being able to find those opportunities, sometimes it is unpaid, unfortunately, and like so it kind of just is the way it is. I mean, hopefully they like start paying more in these positions, but even if it is unpaid and you're able to like do that commitment, then I think it's worth it because you end up being able to improve yourself and like as long as you're open to that. And I think you should be open to it, but
Yeah.
just being able to improve yourself and like getting to know those people. So I think it's just like opening finding a door that's like that you can open in order to try it, and like it may not necessarily be like pro sports at first. Maybe it is like your university team, or like if you have like a high school team you could even shoot for, or like a recreational league. I think that's always a good thing, just like trying it out, because especially if you don't know what you're interested in, like maybe you try photography, maybe it's not for you, maybe can do like some graphics, like ask for some photos and see if you can help them out in that sense. That's a great way. Or if they need like social media help, maybe like you can also just help them like post a few things. So I think just like reaching out and asking, I think is a big thing. And you never know like when someone like may need the help. And I think once you're in that role, like you really start to challenge yourself and get better. And then yeah, like save your work, post it, and be able to use that as a portfolio. It doesn't matter if it's like your high school team versus like a pro team, like it's still the work is the same and like it's still athletes. So um yeah, I think that's probably my biggest advice. Just like just take those opportunities and reach out, and then in that space that's when you'll be able to like grow and like meet people.
Eva, going into your second season now with Toronto, what are you most looking forward to this season? What's got you excited and ready to go?
Yeah, I think, I mean, our team's like the hockey itself is always super fun, and our team's like super different now with the expansion. So I think that's one side of it. But if I'm talking more of like a work perspective, I think just like challenging myself to do more. Like what other skills can I like pick up and like maybe find new trends or like creative ways to tell things. And I think I'm also just excited to get to know like this new half of the team, like our new players, and be able to build those relationships. I think that in itself will be like a challenge because I'm also like a pretty shy person. So just like working social media, I'm like, I don't know how I like talk to all these people like all the time and ask them for things, but um I think yeah, all our players are great, but just like being able to like get to know everyone's personalities and seeing their strengths and like maybe like how I can play that up to like be able to tell their story and like show their personalities is
Yeah,
like I think what I'm most excited for.
very cool.
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough for sitting down with me and talking with me today. I so appreciate it. I am so hooked on the PWHL and everything you guys are doing with these teams. It's so much fun right now. Even with the tour and all the teams going on it's such a pleasure to be able to see everybody play.
No, it's super fun. Like this league is so entertaining. The players are great. The on ice is so fun and so good. Um, so yeah, no, I'm definitely excited for the future of this league, and I'm definitely thankful that you've invited me to be able to talk about like my journey and the league and hype everyone up.
Yeah.
That's been great.
I so appreciate it. You guys, I'm going to have all of Eva's socials down below as well as the Toronto Sceptres. Go give them a follow and stay in tune with everything that they've got coming up this season. And as always, I will see you guys back here next time. Bye, y'all.